Hey guys, it's Chloe and today I am here with a brand new video. Today I'm here with a non-spoiler series review for the True Blue trilogy by Joyce Scarbrough, and that is True Blue, Royal Blue, and True Blue Forever. And this is actually for a vlog tour for this trilogy. I will leave the links down below to all the other amazing booktubers that are a part of this vlog tour. I was asked by Casey from Casey Ann Books to be a part of this, and I'm so honored that she asked me to be a part of this and thought about me when doing this vlog tour. This is an indie trilogy, and as you guys know, I've been getting more involved in the indie book community lately, so I feel like this is a really big step for me, being a part of a vlog tour to help out another indie author, and you guys know I love doing that so much. So before we get started, first of all, can you tell I'm in the Christmas spirit now? Like, I got some lights on in the background, I got my Christmas sweater, did some Christmassy makeup, got this little Christmas tree that you can't even tell is there because it's the same color as my bookshelves, but I'm getting into the Christmas spirit. I actually really hate myself because I filmed my video that goes up on Christmas Eve, and in that video I'm wearing a blue shirt. It's Christmas Eve and that video goes up and I'm wearing a blue shirt. What's wrong with me? And another little announcement type thing before we get started with this review is that I am so freaking close to 900 subscribers. 900. I'm at 832 right now, so if we could just get me to 900 subscribers, I would be so freaking happy because I have 2 huge giveaways planned with autographed books for when we hit 900. So if we can get me to 900, I'll be so freaking happy, because 1K in 2017 is a thing that I want to happen. Okay, so now we are going to get on with the review. Y'all know I don't normally do non-spoilery reviews on this channel. I actually really do book talks because I find that if I do a non-spoiler review, I can't talk about my feelings as well as I can with a spoiler-filled book talk. But we're switching it up a little bit for the non-spoiler review. So first of all, I was sent these books by the author in exchange for the honest review. So because this is a trilogy, we're going to kind of break this down into different parts. So first we're going to talk about the trilogy as a whole and my altogether thoughts and feelings on the whole trilogy, and then we will break it down book by book with each of the 3 books. So first of all, I would like to point out that this trilogy is told over the course of 9 years. It starts off in 1972 when our 3 main characters, Billy Joe, Wade, and Gianna, are in 4th grade. The series ends shortly after they graduate high school in about 1981-82 time frame. So I'm going to start with names because this is kind of a big part of the whole series because character names are important. The first name I want to talk about is Billy Joe, and I really hate this name. I understand that this is southern Alabama, and I'm in Florida, and we have to go north to get to the south, but I really hate the name Billy Joe. And I also understand that this is the 70s, but still, I feel like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm not a true southern that I can't really, I don't know it, but I just don't like the name Billy Joe, and I think it's a dumb name, honestly. I don't know. It's just one of those things. And then we have another character, and his name is Jimbo, and I hate that too. And it's just, why are these names a thing? This series follows many time jumps. For example, the first book alone starts in 4th grade and ends in 6th grade. So we're following lots of time jumps throughout the series as a whole, and I enjoyed that as well. There was a lot of character development because of these jumps, and these kids are growing up, and we're kind of watching them grow up, and I thought that was really great. I felt like it really helped move the story along, and I loved that. I really started to enjoy this series once we hit book 2. Now, when I was first asked to do this vlog tour and I was reading the synopsis of the series, I was just like, this doesn't really sound like something I would read or want to read, but my friend Elizabeth over at the Owlery convinced me that I should do this, and I said yes, and I'm really glad I said yes because I ended up enjoying the series, but I started to enjoy it more towards book 2. When I started reading book 2 and book 3, I loved it then. I did enjoy book 1, but book 2 and 3 I felt were more up to my speed because there's a lot of character development and they're older, and of course I'm a recent high school graduate, so I'm in that mindset, like the high school mindset, even though that this was back in the 70s. It was still the high school mentality. Going back to Billy Joe, I was like iffy about him until book 2. After book 2, when we started to see him older and see his humor, I really started to enjoy him as a character, especially going into book 3. Really enjoyed him. Then we have Wade, and Wade was a character that my love of him just declined as we went through the series, and he was just all over the place. Like, starting off in book 1, yeah, he was great, he was fine, and then book 2 and book 3 just declined. Now, Gianna. Gianna is essentially our main character, and she is a character that I enjoyed. I enjoyed her throughout the series. There were some parts where I thought she was just really being, I don't want to say childish, but she didn't really understand things, or it was very like, I don't know how to describe it. We also have a 4th character, Mickey, and he is not really one of our central characters in book 1, but in book 2 and book 3 he is, and I really started to enjoy him when we were reintroduced to him in book 2. And again, that goes more into detail once we get to each individual book. Overall, this series ended up being a very emotional roller coaster ride, and everything was just all over the place, and especially when we were getting to later books, just the emotions were everywhere, man. It was very emotional, but also very enjoyable at the same time. So now I'm going to go ahead and get into each individual book and talk about more thoughts and feelings on each individual book rather than the whole works. So the first book is True Blue, and overall I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. Now, even though at this point in time the characters are in 4th grade, there's still some sort of childlike love triangle, kind of like a first crush type of deal. And personally, for me, I thought they were a little young to be thinking about that. Like, yeah, everybody remembers their first crush and everything, but I think they were a little like too young to be thinking about love, and that was a bit intense for me. But at the same time, I also saw that bonding of friendship between Wade, Billy Joe, and Gianna, and just the bonds of friendship, even though there were a lot of emotional strains at different points in the story. Mostly I just saw friendship and just the joys of friendship. This is the book that goes from 4th grade in 1972 to 6th grade, so we're experiencing a lot of time jumps throughout the 2-year time span that goes on in this book specifically. Also, this book itself is probably, if I was looking at it in a bookstore, probably not something I would normally pick up just based off the synopsis, but books 2 and 3 were definitely something I probably would have picked up because the characters are older. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying I'm not open to reading something like this, because I did read this and I enjoyed it and I ended up liking it. It's just, I think it's the character age that I was kind of worried about, but I also didn't know that there were huge time jumps like this throughout each individual book. Book number 2 is Royal Blue, and I decided to give this book also a 4 out of 5 stars. This one we experience a huge time jump between the end of the first book, which was 6th grade, and at the beginning of this one we are in a sophomore year of high school. So that's a huge time jump, about 5 years, I think. We experience a lot of character changes with each character, but I noticed the most with Wade, and this is where I really started to not like him as much as a character. My love for him declined rapidly throughout this book. I really enjoyed Billy Joe's humor. As he got older, his humor was very present, and I really enjoyed that throughout the story. Now, even though my love for Wade declined, we have another character that we were reintroduced to in this book, and my love for him grew, and that's Mickey. And I ended up really loving him as a character, especially, again, with the character development. There's a lot of character development in this trilogy, and I really appreciated that. But I also think that has to do with the growing up aspect, and as you're growing up, you yourself are developing as a person, and I thought that was really great throughout this trilogy as well. In this book, I'm trying to say this without spoiling it, in this book we are introduced to a relationship, and I personally feel like this relationship was a tad bit rushed, but as you read the story, and especially going into the 3rd book, you kind of don't mind it anymore. You forget about it. But in the beginning, in this book, I thought it was a bit rushed, and I'm trying to say that without spoiling the story. And moving on to book 3, True Blue Forever. I'm not gonna lie, I struggled with reading this book, not because it was bad, but I kind of got behind on my reading, and today's Saturday the 10th. I finished this book at 2:30 this morning because I had to buy a Trenta-sized coffee from Starbucks and stay up and read 168 pages of it to get it done in time and to get this video filmed and uploaded. So this book is really fresh on my mind because I recently finished it. This one I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. It was such an emotional roller coaster. Like, there were times where I was really happy and then times when I wanted to cry, and I was just all over the place. It was really, really good. And of course, those are a lot of emotions to feel when you're really, really like high on caffeine. And I was just feeling a whirlwind of emotions in the middle of the night. I was tired, I was drinking coffee, and I was just like, oh my god, I was on edge basically the entire time. This one was the longest book in the trilogy. The first one is about 160 pages, the second one about 180. This one was 268 pages, so this was the longest one in the trilogy. But there was a lot that was covered throughout this book. Again, like I said, an emotional roller coaster ride, and there were many, many time jumps in this because it starts off in the beginning of their senior year. So it's 1980, beginning of their senior year, and I believe this ends around 1982. I think like right at the beginning of 1982 is when the epilogue ends. I personally thought that this was a great ending to a story. Again, the emotional roller coaster that it was, but still such a great ending to the story, and I really, really enjoyed it, which is part of the reason why I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I found myself very satisfied with this book in the end, and just very satisfied with the trilogy as a whole. And thinking about it now, I'm just thinking about how they started off as kids in the beginning of the series, and I was reading the first few pages of them as kids in 4th grade, and now they've graduated, and there's so many different things that have gone on between then and now, and it's amazing, honestly. I think I've found that I have a very big appreciation for character development because the character development in this story was incredible. So I think that is all I have for this non-spoiler review of the True Blue trilogy by Joyce Scarbrough. I actually believe that there is a companion series to this. I'm not sure. I'd have to check out the author's Goodreads page and read a description of some of the novels, but there might be. Don't quote me on that. Overall, I'm very, very satisfied with this series. I'm very glad that I was asked to be a part of this vlog tour because I ended up loving it and having such a great time. Thank you to KCN Books and Let's Talk Books for asking me to be a part of this vlog tour. Thank you to Joyce Scarbrough for sending me the books. I'll definitely link her website down below so you can check out more of what she does. I'd also like to point out really quick that these are gorgeous covers. Like, I've seen a lot of indie book covers in the past 4 years of BookTube, and honestly, these are some of the prettiest covers I've ever seen. Like, look at how gorgeous they are, showing the sky. This is my favorite one, I think. This is my favorite cover. And then, oh my goodness, they are so, so pretty and so awesome. I'm so happy to be having these on my shelves. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I know this is not my spoiler-filled book talk that I normally do, but because this is non-spoiler, I hope you have watched this and have now been inspired to pick up this trilogy that I've now noticed is out of order. So I hope you definitely go try out this trilogy. It's really, really good. I really highly recommend it, honestly. And that is all I have for this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like a behind the scenes look at my life, you can check out my second channel. I do a lot of weird things on that channel, and that's my creative output for things that are not book related. So you name it, I probably do it on that channel. Go check it out. And if you like what you see here, please go ahead and click subscribe. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. So click subscribe so we can get to 900 subscribers. I really want to get to 900 subscribers. It probably won't happen before 2016 is out, but if it does and or did, I would be so incredibly happy, and I'd probably cry. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy holidays, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!